𝗖𝗽𝗽𝗆𝗀𝗵𝘁 brothers and sisters. I hope you're all well. I am not happy, and the reason why I'm not happy is because of what my research has revealed in recent days. Since the Palestinian crisis escalated around Saturday last week, I have begun to obviously read more about the Palestinian crisis and also go into research to uncover what I think is, the possible course of this crisis. The legacy media, the mainstream media tries to shape the narrative this time where they oversimplify the Palestinian-Israeli crisis. They just tell us that, most of these guys in Palestine, especially Hamas, are terrorist organization. They're out there to cause commotion, to cause problem or threaten the Israeli state, and because of that, Israel has to defend itself. Very simple, but they don't tell us oftentimes the implication of Israel seizing lands and building new settlements in some parts of Gaza. They don't tell us that Palestine was a country around 1804 when I think Britain was in control of the place called Israel today. It was known as Palestine. People lived there, Christians, Jews, Muslims all lived together, Arab, Israel, and other nationalities lived together in harmony until a particular state was created in the Middle East. Well, since then, peace has eluded that area. Now, I went into the archive and discovered a video that was made by a serving U.S. senator who is currently the president of America. I know most of you have watched that video, and it strikes at the sensibility of every truly civilized human being, looking at how Gaza is being destroyed, people's life, people's home, people's future being mortgaged in the name of fighting terrorists.
If we look at the Middle East, I think it's about time we stop, those of us who support, as most of us do, Israel in this body, for apologizing for our support for Israel. There's no apology to be made. None. It is the best $3 billion investment we make. Were there not an Israel, the United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest in the region. The United States would have to go out and invent an Israel.
That statement of, the investment made in Israel, maybe for the purchase of military hardware, and of course, making Israeli military formidable in the Middle East, they say is one of the greatest investments that America has ever made. Keeping Israel strong and making it the outpost of, American protection of interest in the Middle East. Now, here is the point. This same thing is the rhetoric we heard as the Ukrainian crisis progressed. U.S. senators, like for example, Mitch McConnell, always said that NATO used just 5% of its budget to destroy 50% of Russia's military capabilities. Whether or not that is true, which I know obviously it's not, they are trying to send a similar message that by investing in some of this, they tend to keep the American interest at the fore. Not basically about the people who are being invested on, but about America itself. So the Israeli-Palestinian debacle has more to it than meet the eyes. We might actually know what is going on behind the scene, but from statements like this, we come to obviously understand that there is something fishy about the crisis in the Middle East, and the basic reason why America has played, a role that ensures that other major powers doesn't find viable solutions to the crisis in Palestine. Even till date, new settlements are being built in lands that are known to belong to the Palestinians. Let's watch one more interview by Biden when he was a senator, and you'll be amazed at what this man, who is a president right now, said about Israel and Palestine.
When the Baker Commission filed its report saying peace in Israel is related to Iraq, I was the first and only person in the Congress to point out, if tomorrow peace broke out in between Israelis and Palestinians. Does anybody think there wouldn't be a full-blown war in Iraq? And conversely, if Iraq were transported to Mars, does anyone think there would not be the terrorism visited upon the Israelis every day? The difference between now and before 9/11, many Americans can taste what it must feel like for every Israeli mother and father when they send their kid out to school with their lunch to put them on a bus, on a bicycle, or to walk them. And they pray to God that cell phone doesn't ring. Every day. Every day. And so let's get it straight. Israel is not the cause of Iraq. Iraq being settled or not settled has nothing to do with Israel's conduct. And the second part is people should understand by now, this should be crystal clear, that Israel is the single greatest strength America has in the Middle East. I always say to my friends when they say those things to you, I say, imagine our circumstance in the world were there no Israel. How many battleships would there be? How many troops would be stationed? So I find it not only incorrect, but sometimes mildly insulting.
This is, related to what I said in my previous video, that the escalation on Saturday was a deliberate attempt. I'm not trying to say that maybe they planned it with Hamas. No, it might be that Hamas was planning this, and most of these guys knew beforehand that this was going to happen. And instead of neutralizing the threat at the infancy, they allowed it foster, grew, and matured on Saturday night. So, and that is the situation. If they did that in order to have an excuse to pummel Gaza and destroy people's livelihood, then it is a case of special attention. We pray for peace. We pray for understanding. We pray that the situation in the Palestinian Peninsula would obviously end in peace, where both Israel and Palestine will find a common ground, a consensus that will bring about lasting peace and viable solution, where these two brothers will live like brothers as before, cooperate with themselves, trade with themselves, marry together, pray together, enjoy the fact that they're all Abraham's children. When that comes to play, and when the United States stops or sees its geopolitical games in the Middle East, I think peace would return. Well, thank you guys. What do you think about this position? Do you think Biden and America had a plan of keeping Israel the way it is, and also ensuring that Gaza never rises up from the dust, never recovers economically, never recovers militarily, and never identifies as a nation? Please tell me what you think in the comments. Well, I am still very sad that this is happening to people I so love, and to human beings like you and I. I pray peace returns. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, please like, share, and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum.